Marcus Reed arrived at the office earlier than usual, the quiet morning air still lingering as the city of Chicago slowly came to life. Dressed in his usual crisp suit, he carried a leather folder tucked neatly under his arm, his mind already focused on the meeting he had spent weeks preparing for. As head of operations, Marcus was known for his precision and reliability. Every process in the company had his fingerprint on it, every system refined through years of dedication. But beyond the office, he carried an even greater responsibility. Being a single father to his young son, balancing long work hours with bedtime stories and school routines. That morning felt important. The meeting scheduled was not just another review. It had the potential to shape the company's future direction. Marcus had personally coordinated with multiple departments to ensure everything was aligned. Yet the moment he stepped into the building lobby, something felt off. The receptionist, who usually greeted him with a warm smile, looked confused. She hesitated before speaking, glancing at her screen as if searching for confirmation. That never appeared. "I'm here for the executive meeting," Marcus said calmly. She nodded uncertainly, but didn't respond with her usual confidence. Instead, she asked him to wait. Marcus, slightly puzzled but composed, took a seat in the lobby. Minutes passed. Employees began arriving, some offering quick greetings, others avoiding eye contact altogether. A few whispered among themselves, clearly aware that something unusual was happening, but unwilling to get involved. After some time, Marcus decided to head upstairs, assuming it was a simple misunderstanding, but security stopped him near the elevator. They politely informed him that access to the executive floor required updated clearance. That had never happened before. Marcus didn't argue, he simply stepped back, his expression unreadable, and returned to the waiting area. An hour passed, then another. The quiet respect he had once commanded seemed to have vanished, replaced by uncertainty and distance. People who once relied on his leadership now acted as if they didn't know where he stood. The situation was uncomfortable, even humiliating, yet Marcus remained calm. He opened his folder, briefly reviewing documents, then closed it again, choosing instead to observe. What no one in the lobby realized was that Marcus wasn't just waiting for a meeting. He was watching. The board had recently made a confidential decision, one that elevated Marcus to a position far beyond what anyone in the building knew. He had been given authority, not just responsibility, but instead of announcing it immediately, he chose to arrive as usual, to see how the system functioned without the weight of his known status. And what he saw spoke volumes. By noon, the atmosphere in the office had shifted from quiet confusion to subtle tension. Word had spread that Marcus was still waiting downstairs, and the unusual situation had begun to make people uneasy. Inside the executive conference room, senior managers continued their meeting, unaware or perhaps willfully ignoring the fact that the very person who had built most of their operational systems was being left outside then without announcement. The door opened. Marcus walked in with calm, measured steps, his presence immediately commanding attention. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. A few executives exchanged glances, unsure how he had entered or why he looked so composed after being kept waiting for hours. Marcus didn't raise his voice or show anger. Instead, he placed his leather folder on the table and looked around the room, making deliberate eye contact with each person. "I believe this meeting concerns the future of the company," he said evenly. There was hesitation. Someone attempted to respond, but Marcus gently interrupted by opening his folder and sliding a set of official documents across the table. The chairman picked them up, scanning quickly at first, then more carefully. His expression changed. The quiet authority in Marcus's stance suddenly made sense. "These were finalized last week," Marcus continued, effective immediately.
"I've been appointed acting CEO by the board."
Silence filled the room. The same people who had overlooked him hours earlier now sat frozen, processing what this meant. Marcus let the moment settle, not out of pride but to ensure clarity. This wasn't about shock, it was about reality. He began addressing the issues he had observed that very morning. The breakdown in communication, the lack of coordination at the front desk, the unnecessary obstruction by security. Each point was delivered calmly, backed by specific examples. No accusations, just facts. But the weight of those facts was enough. What happened today isn't just a mistake. Marcus said it reflects a deeper problem. One where systems fail when respect and accountability are absent. No one interrupted him now. He then moved to decisions. A few key roles were reassigned immediately. Positions that required leadership and awareness, not just titles. Others were placed under review. These weren't impulsive actions. They were precise and necessary adjustments aimed at restoring structure. Marcus made it clear that this wasn't personal. This is not about punishment. He said it's about responsibility. A company doesn't fail overnight. It weakens when small failures are ignored. As the meeting concluded, the energy in the room had completely changed. The uncertainty had been replaced by a firm sense of direction. For the first time that day, there was clarity, and as Marcus walked out, it was evident to everyone that the man they had left waiting in the lobby was no longer someone to overlook. He was the one now leading the way forward.